Hey, shalom, brothers and sisters. This brother Amas coming to you live again with call to action, man. Listen, it's another great week. It's another great day to be alive, man. Yeah, I got my mask on. You know what I'm saying? I just felt the need to just put this thing on. But anyway, we're talking about discipline today. You understand? Because a lot of us have been selling ourselves short for too long and for too many reasons. Discipline is what we need, and is going to carry us further than our talents. It's going to carry us further than any type of degrees that we have. Those who are in the positions of authority and power are not there because they all have these specialized degrees or have these specialized certifications or all that. It's because they got discipline. They got discipline on the specific things about what is really life about. And with discipline, you're going to have a certain level of wisdom, of understanding that's going to take you further. Now, remember, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American brothers and sisters, I'm dealing with you and I'm talking to you because there's a specific thing there's a specific way we lived in order for us to get wisdom. We just don't grow up with wisdom. We just don't grow up with understanding. That has to come with time. And the certain level of wisdom that takes you over the top, that comes from the Most High God. And let's read this. That's Psalms 111, verse 10. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. That means nothing comes before the fear of the Lord in order to get wisdom. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. What's that fear talking about? That's talking about that reverence, that understanding that, man, you're really mindful as to your actions and how they're going to be displeasing to the Most High if you do certain aspects. So you're really going to be mindful of your actions. So the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. A good understanding have all they that do his commandments. His praise endures forever. So when you have that fear of the Lord, you begin to get wisdom. And as you get the fear of the Lord and you gain that wisdom, you start to say that you need to discipline yourselves. So what are you going to fall on and to be the measuring stick to what you're going to discipline yourself with? And that's the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God. Because remember, we got the moral law, we got the civil law, we got the ceremonial law, we got the dietary law, and we got the sacrificial law, which we're no longer under because Christ came. But we got the laws, the commandments. That gives us that understanding. Because here we go. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. A good understanding have all they that do his commandments. So when we put those things together, we're going to get the wisdom and the understanding. When we fear God, we get the wisdom. Once we start to do his commandments, the understanding will start to really evolve itself. And then we'll really start to really take hold of the change in us. And then we'll be gaining that level of strong discipline, and we'll stop selling ourselves short. You understand? So we got to really take heed of this discipline. Discipline keeps you out of the turmoil of wanting to study, or not wanting to study, but wanting to party all the time. You know what I'm saying? When we look at our most powerful leaders that throughout the earth, even then and now, the Marcus Garveys, the Stokely Carmichaels, you know what I'm saying? Even the Malcolm X's, Dr. Kings, you know what I'm saying? The Bishop Nathaniel of IUIC, our leaders. The discipline takes them over the top. The discipline of, you don't see them going in the club. You don't see them, doing foul, malicious things. They refrain themselves from those aspects of life because you can't have a certain level of wisdom, of understanding, and think that you're going to continue to live a double life. It's just impossible to do that and to have that level of wisdom that many of y'all really want. So now we're going to find out about this certain spirit of discipline that we will really recognize and have to recognize. Do we really have that spirit on us? Because check this out. Wisdom of Solomon in the Apocrypha, chapter 1, verse 4. Start at verse 4. For into a malicious soul, wisdom shall not enter. Let's break that down from a malicious. What is malicious? Meaning that you have the intentions to do harm to somebody. And a synonym for that is venomous, it's poisonous, it's destructive, it's mischievous. You understand? So for into a malicious soul, wisdom shall not enter. That's why you walk around, you see people, they could talk they could quote this and quote that, but then the wisdom, because the wisdom will bring the application to that, that's how you see that they don't have it. Because they still have that, they intend to do harm with this. We know the saying, too much is given, much is required. And they just intend to do harm. Or they're mischievous with it. They're poison, they're toxic with it. They're venomous. They're destructive with it. And that's why they don't have wisdom. Because for into a malicious soul, wisdom shall not enter, nor dwell in the body that is subject unto sin. You can't have that malicious soul. And what is sin? Transgression of the law. It goes back to what? Psalms 111 and 10. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. A good understanding is all they that do his commandments. You see that? When you're breaking the commandments, you're not going to have that understanding. And you damn sure ain't going to have that wisdom because you don't have no fear of the Lord. Because if you did, you would keep the commandments. Because you would keep that structure system in your life. So you see that? You're not going to get wisdom because it's not going to dwell with you. Because wisdom is a specific spirit that needs to be had. And so is discipline. Now let's read on. It's Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 5. For the Holy Spirit of discipline will flee deceit. You see that? That's a certain spirit that you have to have on you in order to have discipline. Because when you start to have discipline, you're going to flee deceit. You're going to not be deceptive. You're not going to be malicious, poisonous, toxic, destructive. You see that? The Holy Spirit of discipline. That's why I said when we talk about our leaders, the Bishop Nathaniel of IUIC, the Marcus Garveys, the Malcolm X, Stokely Carmichaels, the Medgar Evers, you know, the Fred Hamptons and all them. You know what I'm saying? The discipline to flee deceit and remove from thoughts that are without understanding, so that you're not going to have the thoughts that just has an emotional attachment to it. You're going to get rid of that. And will not abide when unrighteousness cometh in. So discipline is a specific spirit that you're going to have to you're going to really maintain discipline, the spirit of discipline, when you start to fear the Most High God. Because then you're going to have enough wisdom, then you're going to have enough of understanding that's going to, in your mind, you're going to leave the emotions, you're going to leave the deceit, you're going to start doing things in an orderly way. You understand? And that goes into the point of, you know, we've been selling ourselves short because we are without discipline. Because discipline will have us studying more. Will have us studying and applying ourselves to get us to the next level. Because we understand the analytics and the particulars to it. Because that's what wisdom is going to give us. Wisdom is going to help us understand that, you know, there's a lot more. Like, just like this, wisdom is where when we look, where it goes further than a GPS, because a GPS just gives us, because people with knowledge, they just have a GPS. They just know, like, man, okay, if I want to get X, Y, and Z, let's talk about money. If I want to get this certain amount of money or buy a specific house, okay, I just need to save that. Wisdom would tell you, okay, damn, it's going to look at everything. What a part of my life do I have to cut back? Do I have to get another job? How I'm going to start eating now, because if I need to save this amount and I only make this amount, what can I cut back? What jobs can I pick up? You know what I'm saying? What do I have to do? Damn, can I take out a loan for this? And if I take out a loan, what will happen for this? That's wisdom. You know what I'm saying? But we're going to only get there when we also apply that level of discipline. Because then that discipline is going to help us study. Because we must study and qualify for our said position. You know what I'm saying? And because it's important to understand the amount of information in is not the same. Since you take information in, don't mean you're applying the information. And it goes back to wisdom. And it goes back to discipline. You can read as many books as you want, but when your life runs into trials, how come you can't apply that? Because you don't have the discipline enough to understand wisdom. You know what I'm saying? Wisdom, discipline. You know what I'm saying? Look, because there is no amount of partying that shall overtake that. That shall overtake your discipline. Let's read something. Sirach 18:30. Go not after thy lust, but refrain thyself from thine appetite. You may think, okay, I can party. I can live this life, but also maintain a level of wisdom, a level of understanding, and a level of discipline. It's not going to happen. You either going to have to choose one way or the other. Because discipline gets you off that fence that many of us are on. Discipline tells you, I don't want to live a double life. Discipline keeps you in the one way that's the straight way. You understand? So we need to really start patterning ourselves and really looking at the particulars as to what it is that we need to cut back, how we need to start, moving forward. And that's why I propose always we need to start really refraining ourselves from specific aspects of things. Refraining yourself from thy appetite. For example, I called a 6 month, where we got to cut back for 6 months. You know what I'm saying? But not even, because a lot of y'all like to struggle. So for 3 months, start really looking at the particulars as far as your spending habits. Stop having sex because you're not disciplined enough to continue in that way. And sex should be in the confines of marriage. You should not be having sex with anyone anymore. Now that you have this information, now that you have this understanding, refrain yourself from that. Discipline yourself on what type of foods that you're going to start eating now. Discipline yourself on your type of relationships and the boundaries you're going to set for yourself. Give it a strong 3 months and really look at what it is that I need to cut back. Start making a list, write it on paper, making that thing plain on paper. You understand? Because we're losing too much time from individuals who should be up here, but they're playing right here because they got the school, they got the talk, they got the gift of gab, but they're missing the discipline. So please be disciplined for the rest of your life. No leader that we read about, talked about, is in that position because they're not in that position without having a strong sense of discipline. See, the Bishop Nathaniel said of IUIC said, he's not always motivated, but he's disciplined. You see that? Motivation, we're all motivation to have zeal going forward, but the discipline is going to carry us further. When we want to snap, when we want to go off, when we want to quit, discipline is like, nah. Because that discipline is a certain level is a spirit. And that spirit is only going to dwell on us when we got that wisdom, we got the understanding, when we're fearing God, when we're keeping the commandments. Discipline is going to be at the door too, on a silver platter for us to have. And when we remove ourselves from that, guess what's going to happen? We're going to fall into malice. We're going to fall into hatred. We're going to fall into all these issues that are unwanted. These issues that you have in your life is because you lack discipline. It's not because your calling is higher. It's not because, you get the wrong end of the stick. It's because you lack discipline. Okay? Discipline. Keep it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen? But look, that's what I got. Stay disciplined. Stay blessed. Brother Amas, shalom.